up, yo?
And here comes Andrew just in time.
What's happening?
What's up?
Welcome. So I don't know what number this is. I think this is 13. It would be lucky number 13 episode of Born in Trouble, and I'm your host, John X. I, dragged myself up here to this microphone today after a couple of days of hard tears and crying because Kamala Harris lost the election. No, actually, that's not true. But I just wanted the incels that are actually listening to the conversation to feel a little bit better about me still broadcasting and doing the show tonight, because obviously I'm not really that fucked up by the whole shit. It happened. It's fucked up. And it says more about the society than it does about me and you, Andrew, and you, Grant, and you, Mr. Robert Brooks, the illustrious Born in Trouble panel. Mr. Andrew Johnson, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing well. Under the circumstances, I'm actually doing well. Cause you know why?
Why is that?
Because all those incels who voted for Donald Trump still ain't gonna get no sex.
Yes, yeah. No sex. Champagne room, inside the champagne room, outside the champagne room. You still won't be getting any. Mr. Robert Brooks.
In the champagne room. No sex in the champagne room. Absolutely, positively, no sex in the
this is a man who has spent many
room.
hours in champagne rooms across America. Mr. Robert Brooks. Rob, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing well, my man. I'm doing well. We'll talk about it. America did what it has always done.
Yes.
Day one, it did what it has always done.
Yes, and welcome back, Detroit's finest, the City Wing King, Mr. Grant Lancaster.
What up, dog?
What up, though? Our brother.
Player, how you feel?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good. For everybody who's been worried about my health, especially you motherfuckers out there online that have been actually coming back and saying, like, oh, I hope you die, and that's why you're fat and all this other shit. I'd just like to say a hearty fuck you to you motherfuckers right now. Because guess what? I'm off my medications.
And it sounds like
I love it. Yeah, I love it. And if I didn't have such great doctors, I would have been off my medications 2 weeks ago. But as he told me, I wanted to make sure that your black ass lived. So I kept you on these medications 2 weeks past what you were supposed to. And if you can't tell from my voice and what I'm saying right now, that's right. The fucking vitriol is back. That's right. I'm feeling evil again. The mind is working. Everything is in poop, 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 poop. So once again, let's just recap the beginning of the show. Andrew Johnson, Robert Brooks, Grant Lancaster. Fuck you, motherfuckers. I'm around.
I think that was from John. I'm not really sure that was from all of us. I think that was just, not really sure.
Yes, these niggas are such bitches, man. The internet.
Bernie Mac came on the stage at the Def Comedy Jam and said, "I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers." Somebody come out and attack the audience in this way.
Yes. Well, listen, this is what I do. Listen, man, I've been listening to these motherfuckers in this group. Like, I got this one group online. There's this one dude. He's just got a hard on for me. It's like every time I say anything, he swears that I'm talking to him and everything. And I'm like, nigga, you're not that interested. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker, you're not. None of these motherfuckers are too. It's like, this is the internet. It's like a whole world of people. You're not that thorough. You're not that, beastly. You're not anything. And, just to give you an idea of the level of understanding, I'm going to put this one to Grant, and you just tell me, Kid and Play, MC Hammer, 1995, hot or not?
What?
Exactly. I want you to answer my question. MC Hammer,
like
Kid and Play.
Rand is overwhelmed.
1995.
Rand is overwhelmed at this moment because he's like, "Holy shit! people got a lot of time on their hands. Like,
Right.
what the
A
fuck? I'm
lot of
working,
time on their hands.
and these
This
Are
is
you-
what
are
this is
you-
what they would argue about. But Grant, you're listen.
Are we
you're
trying
a
to figure
hip-hop-
out who was hotter at the time, or was any of them hot? Is it
that's the question. Either one of them, are they
Was-
hot in 1995?
in '95? No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Well, Hammer's probably still hot at the time. Hot as a.
I think he
probably
filed
around
bank. I
pumps in
think
the
he
bump.
filed. Yeah, he filed bankruptcy by then, though. I think.
That's probably around pumps in the
That's when
bump.
he had reinvented himself, and he went back. He went to with the hoodies, and he was in the all black. He still had a million
that's
dancers. It was-
pumps in a bump.
Yeah, right. And nobody was checking for that shit, right?
That's when he
Nobody.
went
Am
to
I,
death
am
row
I
at
right?
that point,
Am I
right?
wrong?
I don't know what year that was though.
Well,
Was that,
you know,
was that
listen.
95?
Well,
I feel like that was
listen,
94. I feel
95.
like pumps and the bumps like 94.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Dude, listen. This motherfucker
Okay,
that was
well-
arguing with me was a DJ. Do not hire that nigger. He has no fucking clue. No fucking clue. And these niggas is taking this shit seriously. I had to laugh at it. I knew y'all. I knew that you, especially Grant, you would get a really good laugh out of that one. You know,
Yeah.
because it's like, yeah, you like shaking your head, like what? Like what
Yeah,
the fuck are we talking about? Hot.
Yeah.
I'm like,
maybe there was a B-side.
yeah.
Where's this cat from?
Well, I mean, listen, at that point in time, he was probably, I think he was, I don't know, he's from New York, unfortunately. But dude was like probably, yeah, I think at the time he was like 16 years old. And my response to what he was saying was basically, you were a virgin at that age. Don't tell me shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even getting no pussy at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? So how the fuck you gonna tell me what's going on in the club? You don't know what's going on up in the hood. So it's just like, it's just amazing to me, B. Here I am, this healthy, virile man, you know what I'm saying? Really like
Too much time on his
because
hands.
of the fact that I can think and I voted for Kamala Harris, there's people on the internet that will actually jump on the internet and will call you names as if they can beat your ass. And these niggas would be nothing but blood on the back of my boots. Like, dude, how many? I just can't. So I just like, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Have
But
you
the election was
considered?
polarizing in that way. Go ahead, Rob. You have something to say?
Have you considered writing a country song called "Blood on the Back of My Boots"?
I should. It's actually a very good.
You
It's
should.
actually
It's
a
a
very
good title
good
for a country
sentence.
song.
Blood
Yeah.
on the back of my boots.
Hey, John, treat them next time they talk that shit to you. Treat them like they were an extra in the movie Roadhouse, and throw their asses over
listen.
freaking bars.
Listen, bro, and like, you know, like verbally, you can't really say nothing to these dudes because, you know, they have their tried and true stuff online that they say, and as soon as you start talking about intelligent stuff, they start calling you names. So it's like, it's really like a useless exercise going into it. And like, basically I go there to talk basketball. The fact that the niggas like start talking politics in a basketball group when you dumb as rocks and shit, you motherfuckers don't even understand nothing about the shit completely. And like, you know, not to brag, we talk about niggas with like low IQs, you know, in a lot of cases, and just basically like, you know, so but it got me thinking, like, I want the reason why I'm bringing it onto the show is because it got me thinking about what I was going to talk about this Thursday after this disappointment of an election. And I have to say, honestly, like, you know, I know personally where I'm at and what's going on. Mr. Brooks is gone. I guess he's got to sign back on. He's got a technical thing, but I know personally where I am at with this whole situation. Like, you know I was waiting for the election to find out how I'm going to move for the next 4 years, because it really was a critical election, right? You guys can agree with that. You got Project 2025 coming around the corner, and that's really the God's honest truth. Project 2025 is here because of the fact that because of the fact that they have everything. And, you know, since they have everything, they have the House, they have the Senate, they
Did they win the House
have,
yet, John? I
huh?
don't think that's been decided yet, has it? The House?
I'm not sure if it's been decided because honestly, I haven't been paying. I'll be honest, I haven't watched the news. I watched the news
Yeah,
as much
it's
afterwards as I had
hasn't been
before.
decided yet, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that they won't win it. It just they said it's still up for, you know, could still kind of go either way per se.
Well,
But-
either way, we fucked up in the game. It's
Oh,
a,
yeah.
you know, it's not, and it's not even we. But my thought process, what really got me thinking about the whole thing was, you know, I see all these people online, and Rob, you back like, you know, just in time and everything. I see all these people online, and I'm thinking like, you know, they were all celebrating. I'm like, what the fuck have they won? Like seriously, you know, Grant, do you want to feel that? Do you think you know what they won? What anyone won in this election? Because I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that they feel like they've won. That people feel like they've won.
They picked the pony and that pony won, right? I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? Because so just from my estimation, there can't be like any intelligible reason for the majority of the country is poor people, right? So there's no intelligible reason for poor people to vote Donald Trump into office. Now, I don't know what percentage of people are voting, right? I know that there was a spike 4 years ago when Biden ran, and it was back to like normal numbers this year. So I mean, I don't know. I saw we had a special union meeting yesterday, and there was a bunch of firemen, you know, in there high-fiving and glad-handing and all that kind of jazz, talking about Donald Trump or whatever. And I'm just looking at them like y'all are the people that he's talking about. Y'all not the ones that he's talking to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's a difference, but you know that thread, that through line of whiteness, just, you know, it blinds them.
So Andrew, do you think that what Grant is saying is like kind of true? You know, the correlation between identity there, it sounds like they're identifying with Trump. Do you think that that's a large major part of why they're high-fiving?
Yeah, well, you know, 50 Cent had an album called Get Rich or Die Trying. Well, the people they voted for are going to get very rich and they're going to die trying. And
Right.
that's basically that's basically what's going to happen. You know, it's a situation where there's these
you just cooked.
Yeah,
hey, it's a situation. You know, when I do my show and we talk about stats and money, you know, 55% of people in the United States cannot afford a $1,000 repair if something broke in their house. They would either have to charge it or do without. That's his base. If you look at, he got 52% of white women without a college degree. Now, what does that tell you? These are people who would vote for anything. Like they are so not in tune to what's going on. He got 53% of the male Hispanic vote. Now again, the wrath is about to hit them like they've never seen before come January 20th. And they're going to be in for a rude awakening for thinking that this was a good idea to vote for him. Now, the thing is, you know what? I can say this. If this country, if we experience something on the level of a depression within the next 4 years, Black people can walk around with their heads high because 87% of us voted for Harris and we tried to stop it. All right. We didn't, but we tried. So at the
I'm more
end of the
concerned
day,
with the other 13% that didn't.
Well, you know what? Well, it was 20% of them were men. So again,
Yeah.
Incels still ain't getting no sex, so that's cool. I mean, but you know, they can just they can continue doing what they
They'll
do.
die off.
They'll die off, exactly. And so they're gonna die off from not being able to ejaculate at some point in their lives. But they're done. I mean, like we can't. There's gonna be always black. Usually, it's about 10% of the black population generally votes Republican. So okay, now this time it was about 13%. Still, we're still. I can't really blame. If someone was to say to me, Trump got more black male voters than he did before, great, congratulations. At the end of the day, 4 out of 5 black men didn't vote for him. So I feel good for what we did. We tried to save democracy. You know, now I can't get other people to participate and come along with us. That's on them. But the ones who are going to get hurt by his policies the most are going to be the ones who voted for him. I just say this one point and then I'll be done. They're going to roll back. Their goal is to roll. One of the first things they're going to do is try and get rid of Obamacare. Now, in these southern states down here that I go through sometimes and see, a lot of white people get Obamacare. A lot of white. When I say a lot, I'm talking about in the millions. When they lose their Obamacare and get sick, and they will not have anything that, you know, they're going to be maybe on their deathbed or whatever the case may be. They need to look back and think about why didn't they listen to all them smart, intelligent black folks? And that's all I
Why
got to
did
say.
they not listen? And speaking about intelligence, Mr. Brooks, education so crucial.
It's not what we do here in America.
It's not what we're doing
No,
right now,
we're
right?
not really we're really not in that business, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We fund the schools unevenly. At some point, if America's serious about it, all the schools across America will be the same, be the standard. But Trump's going to dismantle the education department. It's also one of the things that's high up on his list. So I was in New York City yesterday and decided to drop in on a set at the Comedy Cellar, and this white woman, Judy Gold, came up on the stage and just started screaming at all the white people in the audience. Like literally got up there and said, "What the fuck is wrong with you people?" And just like the first 5 minutes of her set, first 5 minutes of her set was just her screaming at white people. "What the fuck is wrong with you? How could you do this? You treacherous motherfuckers! You sat there and you said all the right things, and you went in the room and you voted for that fucker anyway. God damn it, you're gonna get what you deserve."
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. It's everybody. That's why I'm not fucked up about it. I'm gonna go last on this subject. That's why I'm not fucked up about it, because, like, honestly, like, you know, Grain and Rob especially, y'all know me and everything. I got a little bit of a dark side. I don't mind seeing people in pain if they deserve it. And, you know, while these people are like sitting here laughing, they're like, ha 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 ha. You know, he lost the election. I'm like to myself, you motherfuckers are worse off than me.
Yes.
Okay. I know how to navigate the shit. You know, I have the tools to navigate the shit. I have the ability to navigate it. I'm going to do better in the Trump economy than you are. I'm closer to those people up on the top than you are. So when you start high-fiving and shit and everything, I won't be able to hear you because I'm going to be behind closed doors someplace in a private room with my boys having a drink of Johnny Walker Blue. Some expensive scotch. not no regular shelf shit. We're gonna go blue, we're gonna go gold, but we're not fucking with that other, we're not fucking with that red. Y'all niggas is red. Y'all niggas is red. You know what I'm saying? Don't fuck with me right now. Like, I'm not fucked up about it at all. I think that I'm a Darwinist and I'm a little bit of an anarchist, you know? So if the shit fails and everything, it just does. It just does. I've seen some of the dumbest arguments online, though, black people capping for Donald Trump. And I just think it's like, I still think you're really a bunch of oddballs. Because, you know, this guy is a silver spoon. He's like, you know, he's Biff. He's fucking Biff.
He's worse than Biff. He's a criminal.
Exactly.
Like he has managed to take some businesses that some people can't fuck up and fuck them up.
Yeah,
You know? Everything he talks just turns to shit.
it's impressive. It's impressive. His ability to fuck shit up is really, really impressive. The man was voted the worst president ever by by scholars and groups and more than one place for many times. I just think that, I put up today my Facebook thing was I'm gonna have Idiocracy the movie on a loop today in the background all day, no matter what I did. Because nothing is better than seeing Terry Crews and a cutoff and everything with the red, white, and blue and everything.
That's
Shooting
president.
shit up into the air. Just classic, bro. You know what I'm saying? Y'all did it. Just remember, y'all did it to yourselves. You didn't do it to me. You know what I'm saying?
You know something, John? You know something, John? I think they think that they're going to just have a mandate to just ram through everything. I think when they start, because if you remember George Bush's second term, after he won, he says, I have a mandate to do what I'm about to do. And when he tried to privatize Social Security, they shut that down immediately. And his second term turned out to be a disaster. And I think that might be what's going to happen here. So I'm thinking that just because they won and they have this power, if they think they're going to ram through all the stuff they want to ram through, and if they start to get the resistance from the public, it's going to be very difficult because they're going to get resistance from even their own base with some of the things that they're going to try and do. And so now I'm not talking about the lunatic base. I'm talking about people who voted for them.
Yeah.
But did it like in a plug, hold their nose and voted for them kind of thing.
I have 2 words for you, Andrew. Heritage Foundation.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to sit down and they're going to write the plays from here on in.
Absolutely.
And we're going to see exactly where it is that they want to go with America. Some people don't even know what the fuck the Heritage Foundation is. Some people don't know who Stephen Miller is, which is to me is crazy. It's nuts.
John, you want to hear something funny about Stephen Miller?
Yeah.
Do you know why he has a disdain for Hispanic people?
No, what?
The first girl he had a crush on was Hispanic.
Stop
he tried to I'm not lying. He tried to ask her out and she told him no. And he's been wanting to get them back ever since. And he's in charge of this deportation. So watch what happens. That's what happened. He literally was turned down by a Hispanic girl when he was in high school, and he has not forgotten it.
Well,
and
let's
that's the guy who's going to be in charge of deportation.
Rob, you wanted to say something?
That's just crazy. I mean,
yeah.
The man looks like an alien creature. Who was she supposed to say?
I think he was looking for some mercy sex. I don't know.
Well, listen, what you're saying, Andrew, is true. They have the whole movement now with women holding out. They say, a lot of these women are saying that you're not getting any booty for 4 years. Some of these guys are not getting any booty for 40 years. But, it's I think maybe they should speak to their bisexual friends who are married to those guys, that they go over to their houses during the daytime while their husbands are out making money. And, maybe they shouldn't kiss them either. Katy Perry, I kissed a girl and I liked it. You shouldn't be kissing your neighbors because they're the ones who voted Trump in.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have no comeback to that one.
So let me just say this,
leave that alone.
Yeah, right. You should leave that one alone. You should just sit in the corner and watch like we all do until someone taps or you get a finger that says, come over here. Otherwise, just stay back from that one. But the truth of the matter is, they're not part of this whole thing about part of the movement that is Trump is about not waiting for this and just being able to go dive in. And, you hear no. If you hear no, a lot of people identify with him because this is what they want to do to their dates. They want to force themselves on women. They want to be able to, they want to be macho. They want to be manly, quote unquote. And a lot of these guys, they think that this is really manly. You know what I'm saying? It's manly to get online and call somebody else a name online. That's very manly of you and everything. But if I slap the shit out of you when I see you, That's not really very manly. This is the difference between back then and back now. And this is like kind of like what I want to get into. Because it's like, let's be honest, I'm not slapping the shit out of anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for that shit. And most people are litigious. You know, that's another thing that's different. You know, back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, you slapped the shit out of somebody, you probably weren't going to get sued. You know, that guy was just going to have to pick up his face.
Well, you know what, John? I wish I wanted you, if you ever had an opportunity, I'd love to see you do one of those Charles Oakley slaps to like an NBA player that owed him money that he used to do in the 90s.
Yes, yes.
You need to do one of them.
Yes.
If you ever see one out in the open, do it in the dark when nobody's around, of course. But
yeah, you know. No, well, most people are litigious, and they're not really about what they're talking about. Like honestly, and they haven't lived those lives. They haven't been in those hot situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a very good podcast that we have here. We talk about all intelligent shit. If we were to talk about some of the shit that we couldn't talk about, it would also be a very good podcast, if you know what I mean. You know, we pick and choose what we share here. This isn't like the people online that are basically trying to get attention and telling you everything about everything that's ever happened to them in their life. It's just like that's not what this is. But with that in mind, with the differences of what's happening, I see a lot of people saying that, you know, one of the reasons Kamala lost was because she ignored the call for reparations. And Rob, you and I were talking earlier today, and you had a very interesting point of view on that,
Well,
do you remember what you said?
Yeah, we're 12% of the population. Nobody gets elected by saying, here's my platform. These ideas right here are just for 12% of the population. I'm running for president of the United States. That's not a way to get elected. And the people who are saying that, you know, who were saying beforehand, before the election, that, you know, there's no reason to support her because she's not doing anything for this community. Like, you're just doing their work for them.
Do you think that reparations has become an albatross upon the neck of the I don't know what you want to call it, ADOS, Black community, African American, Negro, whatever you want to call it? Do you think that reparations has now become like kind of a chain that weighs us down? Because that's the way I really view it, like honestly speaking, because of exactly what you just said. And, you know, when we were like, you know, back in the days when we were in college, Grant, it was popular to talk about reparations, and it was a thought process that people would go through. But we know America is never going to give Black people reparations.
Well, even if they did, what are you going to do, right? Besides have money, you're going to have disposable income.
Mm-hmm.
All of the significant property is already owned. All of the you know, television stations. I mean, like there's not a lot of ownership left for you to acquire. So yeah, it would be great to get money, but what you need is resources, and not just liquid resources. You need hardline resources. You need, you know, an airline. You need a gas company. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you need something that will be there forever. You need a mine, you know,
right.
like a mining company to precious metals or whatever. So
I
mean, reparations would be great, but like I said, what are you going to do with it besides have disposable income?
You know, what thought process came to me was that in the 60s and 70s, when these people were fighting for these things, reparations, they weren't really fighting for an opportunity to like get money and go on vacation and like live their best life and, you know, Black cruises and stuff like that. That wasn't what the goal was. The goal was basically just to have even footing. So that way we could prove that with even footing, we can do more. We can do more with less.
Reparations
resiliency.
Is an extension of the 40 acres and a mule conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the 40 acres and a mule would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The money, I mean, possibly you could find 40 acres to buy. But I mean, once the reparations come in, now all of a sudden,
the prices go up.
Right. All the prices are way up. So again, like, what are you going to do with the money? Because render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. In that the quote, right? If America gives you money, that's America's money. That ain't your money. That's America's money, and somehow they're gonna get it back. Just like with the PPP loans and all this. Anytime America gives you money, they get it back with some extra slices on top. Trust me.
And that's really what people are mad about. That's what they're really mad about. Now the election's over, you can say it. PPP loans, stimulus money, all that free shit that niggas got through, during COVID. We want that to be the norm, which is essentially what you're saying then is you're basically saying basic universal income, universal basic income, right? Whatever it is, UBI. But if you say that around the people that you just elected and you voted for, they're not trying to give you that. They're not trying to feed you no UBI. You're not getting a check from the government every week. But people think that Trump is going to give them a check, that this administration is going to basically, this is the same thing with women when, and this is like the same thing with women when they go into, child support and everything. And my take and my experience of seeing that and everything, and this is not to say all women, because a lot of women struggle and suffer, and they need that money from those men. They need that money. But a lot of it for these people is like really like they don't view it as a real necessity or a need. They look at it like basically like they're calling their daddy on you. The courts are not your daddy. You know what I'm saying? The government is not your daddy. And I just find it odd that, like, I've just been sitting back peeping game. If you looked at my social media this year, my social media has been fucking quiet. It's been pretty tame. Like, honestly, I throw up comments or I throw something up on a Monday and I won't go back and do anything until Thursday or Friday. It's like I've been really, really calm because I've really been watching. I've been like observing. Ever since I came back, I've been observing and I've been watching this shit so I can get a clear picture. And the picture that I got was a disturbing one. People are claiming that people are whiners and that while they're whining, people are saying they're, try to get the facts out, look at the facts and the stats while not pushing facts. It's like everything is so convoluted. And this is what they were saying was going to happen to people and to the society, that eventually we were going to get to a point where you can't discern between fact and fiction. And we are 100% at this place. And it's when you're watching it on television, that's one thing. But when you're dealing with people in real life and they have the inability to discern between fact and fiction, it could be troubling if you really cared. Luckily, I don't. But I mean, if you really cared, it would be troubling. Am I wrong, Rob?
Well, those are your neighbors' homes. Like, you should care to some degree. I mean, we've always lived, and when I say we, those of us who are brown, have always lived knowing that America has dual realities. There are different sets of rules. We've lived that our whole lives. And, it's fucking up some of these white people as they're finding out, that America has two sets of rules and two sets of ideas. But, like, it's concerning overall because, the overall quality of life for everybody's going to go down. So, while I'm not happy with what happened, like, I'm concerned, man. And we should be concerned because guess what? It's not going to get easier to reconnect to these people. And you listen, if you watch, the shows and you listen to the breakdown, they are going out of their way to come up with all of these reasons why this shit didn't work, instead of just saying, you motherfuckers will not vote for, there's no way you motherfuckers were going to vote for a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just call the spade a spade. But the Democrats don't know how to talk to people, the language, had they gone through a full process. You just weren't going to vote for a black woman. You were not putting that person at the top of the chain. Just say it so we can get over it.
Rob,
they
you
got to
said
find
something
themselves a good white person next time.
Yeah, they should. Andrew, Rob, you said something very interesting. I want Andrew to comment on. Do you think that we should be trying to reconnect with each other?
Yes, I think we should. You know, the problem was in this particular election cycle is the news media normalized Trump's behavior, and nobody in the news media, it didn't matter if it was a quote unquote conservative media or the liberal media. You know, when there was a story that came
Hold
out.
on 1 second before you tell the story, because I'm going to stop you because I know you
Yeah.
can remember the story.
Mhm.
You said something on the last show about you can't do too much to make Donald Trump, you know, about how he does things so extremely that that it's like when he does do things, it doesn't really matter anymore. He makes it like unaloof. I saw a meme that said that a podcaster said that on the show. And like, to me, that was you. Okay. So we give you your flowers for that because it was true, but it's sad, but it's true. Well, go ahead. Please continue with your story.
Yeah, no. Thanks for that. But I was just saying that there was a story. This was, I think it was on the cover of the New York Times. Remember when Joe Biden had said something where they thought he was repeating a comment about Puerto Ricans and trash and all that, but he was just talking about the comedian, and they tried to make it sound like he said it for everybody.
Mhm.
That comment, when he did that, that was on the front page of the New York Times. All right. Now, New York Times is supposed to be a quote unquote liberal newspaper. When General Kelly came out and was talking about how some of the stuff Trump did when he was in office, and you know, how he might be considered a fascist and all this stuff, that was on page A12 of the New York Times. So again, think about that.
It might have been a
hard.
crossword puzzle on the next page.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard for people to make good decisions when they're not getting their information or they have bad information. And that's where there wasn't any. Kamala Harris ran as good as a presidential campaign as anyone in the United States has ever ran. You cannot blame her for what happened. She ran an excellent campaign. She hired some of the best people. They put together a great campaign. She had 3 months to put that thing together, and she ran a great campaign. She had no control over 53% of Hispanic men thinking that Trump was in there, voting for Trump was in their best interest. She had no control over 52% of white women who are losing their body autonomy, because one of the things they're going to do is they're going to try and do a national abortion ban. That if she's telling them, hey, don't go down that path because this is what's coming, and they still do it anyway, you can't, there's nothing you can do to a crash test dummy is going to crash. You can't do anything other than advise them, okay, this is what's going to happen. Be prepared for it. Now, if the crash test dummy gets in an accident and goes, what happened? Then you just look at them and laugh. I mean, what else can you do to them? You can't make people do what's in their best interest. You ever grew up with somebody who you know, you're like, look, man, if you don't knock it off, they're going to whip your ass. And they still do it anyway and get their ass whipped. And that's America right now. America basically needs an ass whooping, and they're about to get it.
So, Grant, the optics of this, what do you think? You know, is it solely because she was a black woman, or because she was an Indian woman? You know, here's my problem with the way everything went down and everything. I got to tell you, like, I see a lot of people online, and they're like cleaning out their friends list on their social media, and they're like, not talking to these motherfuckers no more. And that's cool. I completely and totally understand that. I don't do that because honestly, you know, if you a dickhead and you in my social media and you're on my page and everything, you know, tell your friends what the fuck I said. Maybe one of them will get smarter. Maybe they won't. But it's not like I talk to your ass anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're like, you know, we're bosom buddies and we're close and everything. This is my circle right here. and Mr. Gene, who's probably somewhere halfway asleep right now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are my friends, y'all are my support, to a certain extent. And I don't really, everybody else like comes in, I take their opinions with a grain of salt, because that's the way they should be valued. They should be valued with a grain of salt. It's not something I respect. It's not something I can really get behind. These people, but I do that based upon their personalities, their intelligence, their possible actions. Grant, they elected Donald Trump for the opposite of those reasons.
Right.
Should he not be concerned?
No, but the root of America is that, though. You know what I mean? Like the root of America is to exploit the differences between people. So rich people exploit the differences between poor people, and somehow rich people always end up with taking all the money. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It just works like that. I don't if it's sex, if it's race, if it's religion, whatever the difference is, right? Rich people always end up walking off with all the money. So the rich person has 50 hamburgers. The white guy has a hamburger, and he tells the white guy, the rich people tell the white guy, hey, look out for that black guy that's gonna try to steal your hamburger, while he got 50 sitting in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Like that's what this is. So back to your original question, do I think that she lost mainly because she's a black woman? Yes, I do. I don't think that I think that President Obama's term was good that we got there,
Mm-hmm.
but I think so many people were disgruntled with what Obama did or didn't do, or the perception of what he did or didn't do, or however you want to phrase it, that they just weren't going back into that bag again. Right. And particularly not with a black woman, angry, strong, blah, 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 just whatever, adjective you want to use for black women that they use all the time. I just don't think America was going to get in that bag again.
Rob, do you have anything you want to add to that before I go on to my minute and a half rant that I'm about to run out?
Your minute and a half rant. I mean, like a lot of those people are clearing out their friends list because, this is the first time that they've sort of processed that these people that they were hanging with have discounted all the things that normally people get exiled from the society for. Like, yo, the guy is a liar. Okay, they're willing to deal with that. The guy's a racist. They're willing to deal with that. The guy's a sexist. They're willing to deal with that. He's a sexual criminal. They're willing to deal with that, so they don't have to deal with this. And so I can understand why some people are cleaning out their friends list, because they're finding out that their friends ain't shit. Their friends are Americans.
Mm-hmm. Finding out that their friends ain't shit. That's good.
Right.
Always good to know. Always good to know your friends ain't shit. So I think that this is like, I look at this like, Rob, we have conversations during the media world, and, we always discuss the demographics, right? And we're outside the demographic at this point in time. Right or wrong, right? 55 years old, I'm outside.
You are. You're right on the edge.
I'm right on the edge.
I'm still in the demographic.
You're still in it? Yeah, I'm right on the edge, so we're irrelevant. So it's like, I can't take any credit for this whatsoever. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of took a step back. I wasn't trying to make myself a voice in this election, because it's not really I don't see it as my world anymore, per se. It's really these young cats. And these young cats have grown up with such trauma and such lack of resources. When we talk about Obama became president in what, 08? Okay. Yep. Right? 08.
Yep.
Yeah. That's like, the beginning of the recession. What's he going to do for you at the beginning of a recession when they got to bail out banks, and you got all these things and all this media that you no longer see, because the media that you see is so depressing. from that period of time. The movies that we're making were about how people were coping with job loss and home losses and families breaking up and people living in vans and driving by in vans and, doing these things. Those kids that were in vans that were 10 years old now are 25 today. They don't really comprehend why their childhood was stolen. They just feel like my childhood was stolen. And now somebody's going to have to pay for it. And when I talk to them, you have something to say about that, Rob? I saw you start
I just, like that, but that's part of the 24-hour news cycle and the sound bites, that's part of, there's no nuance. Like you can't have the conversation and say like, hey, look, this economy, the beginning of his economy is created by this. Like it's all, are you better off 4 years ago? Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Well, shit, 4 years ago, we were in the middle of a recession. We had to give away, a lot of people felt we had to give away that money so that, everything didn't crash. But at the same time, you knew it was then sparking inflation. But they talk about Joe Biden's policy created inflation. No, actually, that's just started under Trump. But there's no
nuance.
The people don't really want to get down into the weeds. Like they want a 30-second soundbite and they're going to vote off that.
Yeah, nuance requires education, right, Grant? It requires education. It requires you to be aware of what happened, how it happened, how you can actually change it. And one of the reasons why I don't have conversations with these people online like that is because if you tell them something about that and explain to them, like, listen, 2000 they had this loan program and these guys wrote all these bad loans and everything, and all these people bought all these houses because they were giving away money so that way people could go to Las Vegas and sleep with your mom and everything and your mom's friends. They were all whores in Vegas at one point on a weekend, right? I can say that because I'm a whore too. I'm not excluding, I'm not being male or female. We're all whores. We were all whores in the early 2000s. That's what we did. We had fun. We had money. We did whorish stuff. That's our community. That was what we did. But I had an interaction with this guy online, and he was like, he was just swearing he was going to get me. And he was telling me, like, our generation has done X, Y, and Z, and we're the reason why everything is fucked up. Nah, your lazy ass is the reason why everything is fucked up. The fact that you want everything given to you, the fact that you want me to fix your shit when I'm 55, you want me to fix your shit. I'm outside the demographic. If I try to tell you something that'll help you, you don't want to hear it because you're just an old man. You don't want to, like you don't know nothing. Okay. And this is especially in the Black community or the African, the ADOS community, whatever you want to call it. I saw one of the dumbest arguments online today about this whole thing. And, one of these brothers, somebody that we know, talking about how, like, we're actually not from Africa, we're from here. Well, look, like even that argument that, even if like Africans are, the original Indians are Black, let's just say the original Indians are Black, okay? Because I believe that the original Indians are partially Black. One of the reasons why they're Black is because they had settlements that came over from Africa before anybody was even jumping in boats. And they were coming over and they were settling the entire southeastern coast of America. And you can walk up from anywhere from there. They were in Minnesota. They were all over the place. Like, in the early, like before Leif Erikson and the Vikings even got here, they were here, so like that to me is such a stupid fucking argument. Of course, Africa seeded the planet. Africa seeded the planet at different times. What the fuck are you arguing about? Like, seriously, why is that? Why? And I think that people get caught up in identity. You want to identify with, they want to, like, Trump has told some of these like, these incel Black guys and everything who don't know how to talk to women. They don't know how to finesse them. They don't know how to. They would never get laid if there wasn't such a thing as currency. Okay, would never get laid. Wasn't such a thing as currency. That's just the truth. And they've all convinced themselves. That these arguments are like they matter, like they have value. And what really actually has value is understanding what happened from 2006 leading up to today, so you don't repeat those same mistakes. And this is the reason why I watched Idiocracy today, because people are just so blissfully stupid, and they will call you stupid for knowing stuff. It is honestly the attack on education and educated people that started under the Bush regime, because they didn't want people to know what they actually did. They didn't want them talking about what they actually did when they robbed all the money from everyone. And we're just really in this really stupid place on earth. And especially I'm more concerned with the Black community, honestly. Because go ahead.
Isn't it inevitable? Like, so and I've had this conversation. So, you know, Ayana's 25. I've had this conversation with her, right? My educational foundation is solid and it's broad, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just my generation, right? Our foundation of education is solid and it's broad. We had knowledge of how to do stuff with our hands. We had book knowledge. We had some street smarts. You know what I mean? You kind of had that whole, you had everything wrapped up in there in one, right? Mm-hmm. Somehow or another, that foundation whittled away for the next generation, right? And their base is smaller. Their foundation is smaller, so they don't have the same understanding that you have, and they can never get there. Particularly now. So now we at the third generation from our education, right? This third generation, their education comes in fucking sound bites. Their education is based off of someone else's opinion. It's not based on fact necessarily. It's based on opinion, and opinion rules the day.
Right? And they support the opinion. That's the right. Worst part.
But that's the thing. But your fact means less than their opinion.
And right? That's problematic.
So how can you not have idiotic conversations if people are only telling you what their opinions are?
I'm not having conversations with these people. They're having right. It seems to me
but
like
they're having conversations with each other.
With me. They're really like, they're like, I'm going to convince, but how can you convince somebody if you don't listen? The conversation is two people talking. One of the great things about our show and our dynamic is that we have conversation. We're sitting up here conversating right now. I'm listening. We're all listening to what everyone is saying. And we don't always agree. We don't always agree. One of the great things about us is that we have different points of view and vantage points.
No, I would never give the audience the middle finger right at the beginning of the show. At least wait till they start fucking with me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's you, Rob. Like, I'll give them, like right now, just throw one out there. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But that's part of the love of the show. You know what I'm saying? I love you. Fuck you. That makes sense. I love you. Fuck you. So, but, yeah, no, we have there's so many holes. It's like, we're about to see the breaking down of the Department of Education. My lady was saying like what that means for a lot of people. That's going to be something that's going to really upset them. All these people saying, oh, we don't need the Department of Education, but peep game. A lot of these kids today are being born. With deficiencies, learning deficiencies. They have these programs. They have these the IDEs or
the IEPs.
IEPs, who do you think funds those IEPs for your kids with the learning disabilities? That comes directly from the Department of Education. If the Department of Education doesn't exist anymore, it's going to be up to your state. Your state already doesn't have enough money. So education is not something that they're trying to invest in. So a lot of those kids are going to get even further left behind. But let's be honest. I mean, Barron Trump probably had a learning disability as well and everything, but he's 18 now. So it doesn't really matter. There's no need. As soon as people disappear from off of your radar, and America has done a terrible job. Honestly, you guys, America, you can be very proud of what you did on this election day, because basically you just showed how soulless and heartless it is. Everybody is wrong. Everybody is wrong in this situation. The Democrats are wrong. The Republicans are wrong. The Democrats were wrong because it started with Joe Biden. Should have quit sooner. Really should have. They should have had there's no doubt about the fact that they should have had a primary, for the Democrats well beforehand, for just one simple reason. And this is no knock on Kamala. She did run a great campaign. She tried. But when she ran in 2016, what place did she come in? First, second, third, or sixth or seventh?
She was down the line.
She was way down the line. People were not interested in what she had to say back then. So if you think she's going to win a popular vote now, just because you put her up there and everything, you underestimate the hatred of people in the United States of America. That's one thing that's really bad. The Republicans are bad because, you were complaining about Joe Biden being senile and all this other stuff, and you look at Donald Trump and he's obviously senile. He's shitting his diapers. He can't keep a thought process. He's old as fuck. He's the exact same thing. So you voted for the same thing.
That's the scariest thing to me.
That JD Vance is going to be president.
JD Vance can be president. We could have 3 years of JD Vance as president. It
JD
wouldn't
Vance,
surprise me if we had 4 years of JD Vance as president.
JD Vance couldn't even hold a job. He couldn't even hold a job at a hedge fund that was funded for him by his gay benefactor, right? And that's another thing that I find funny. And the reason why I mention this is I'm not mad at the LGBTQ community whatsoever. So I have to say this, but the reason why I mention it is because you have all these supposed manly Republican conservative guys up here calling people weak and saying that they're feminine and stuff like that. But you literally voted for a guy who probably sucks dick in back rooms. Isn't that ironic?
But once again, they've been doing a double standard forever in this country.
I guess it's more wrong for Kamala to suck a dick than it is for JD Vance to suck a dick.
Well, sexism is the greatest of the isms. It really is.
And they have boys trips, like my wife says. You go on boys trips more than once a year, then you're probably,
it's probably YMCA.
Yeah, that's her concept. There's something you can have a wife, but you can also suck a pinga. Andrew, you got something to say? You got something about that?
I don't know if I can follow up after all that stuff. I
Stay
don't
away
know if
from
I can
that
follow
one.
up on all that stuff. But I will say this, I don't have political conversations at all anymore because every time I do, my IQ drops. I don't want to lose any more points off my IQ. I'm getting older and I'm trying to keep them all.
It's
so
rough, bro.
it is hard. One thing I can say though is the people who think that they did something and accomplished something on Tuesday.
They're hilarious.
Yes. Look, when that car crashes and it's gonna crash,
Woo!
and you start to reach up and ask for someone to help, you're going to be looking for some help.
No, Negro.
The people you voted for are not going to give it to you.
No, you mean,
So-
and neither am I.
Good-
Don't come to my
Yes.
door. Listen,
Good luck with that.
There's not an apology. There's not like, yo, you brothers, like, yo, I'm not even looking through the peephole. I got the ring. You know what I'm saying? I'll know who's outside, whether you're going, I might have to shoot through the door. Something like, you know, not all skin folk are kinfolk. Nothing like, to me, I think this election was a great thing, you know, because I got to really find out who is where, and who not to fuck with completely and totally. Like, you know, and like really, like I was telling like this one dude in you know, online, who I had helped out with something. I'm like, B, like you don't even realize, like you sit up here saying all this shit. I'm like, B, you have literally nothing for me. Like, you know, your life, and like there's really nothing that you can contribute that can edify my lifestyle. But me, I can give you a lot of shit. There's a lot of things I could do and I can help you with. And you will never, ever, now you go out and you get it from those people. And those people won't even know how to navigate it as well as I. But it's not really, and it's not to say like, hey, it's your loss, you're never gonna get it. It's just simply basically, we not vibing, B. You know what I'm saying? We not vibing. Like all this brain power on this panel, you know, everybody that has ever been on this show is an intelligent motherfucker. And I say motherfucker with such love. Like, you know, everyone who has ever appeared on the show, from you to Reg, even Dr. Kemia, you know what I'm saying? She was a fighter and everything. But let's be honest, she done blown that whole that whole feminism thing out the water, because we all know now that, like, you know, what is that comedian? What's that comedian's name again?
Oh, Judy Gold.
Yeah, go talk to her. Go talk to her, because she kind of broke it down for you. Like, yo, the bitches ain't ready. They're not ready. The same reason why they'll fight with each other. They can't. We've had two. They tried a black one. They tried a white one. They tried a Indian, an Indian one who identifies as Caucasian, and Nikki Haley. And she was running by herself in the primary. She couldn't even get to 10%. You know, so that feminism shit is dead. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't running shit in the United States of America. Not because, and listen, it's not because men hold you back. It's because y'all can't get fucking along. You don't like each other. So why am I going to trust you to like me? And on the same token, you black motherfuckers and everything out there talking shit, saying all this other shit. You don't like X, Y, you can't fuck with this black person. You got a problem with educated black people. You got problems with immigrants. You got problems with this one, that one, whatever your problem is. Y'all, all y'all niggas fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Don't come fuck with me and everything. Like, really, y'all got too many issues. You got too many hangups. If you're not building, if you're not trying to build, I'm only looking for brothers and sisters. And when I say brothers and sisters, it's not even just exclusively within this race and everything. I'm only looking for people that I can build with and everything. And if I can't build with you, I can't fuck with you. And really, the Democrats blew it. And let me just say, since I'm already since we're already in the situation where we can't really say what we want to say anymore, because all of this stuff is going to be reviewed by the new administration, and we'll see who's going to end up getting locked up and who isn't going to end up getting locked up. Jewish people and the state of Israel, Jewish people who support, like a lot of them support Donald Trump because they know that, you know, these people, like one of the big things was Palestine. You know what I'm saying? Well, she just killed all these people in Palestine. Do you think Donald Trump and that administration is going to stop Israel from killing Palestinians, unaliving Palestinians? Are you fucking nuts? Have you been paying attention? Nah. So it's so disingenuous what they're saying. But the fact that they allowed that to happen, the genocide alone, or what is being perceived as a genocide in Palestine, hurt the Democrats, absolutely killed them. Absolutely killed them. And the irony of that whole situation is it would have happened if the other side was in there anyway. It doesn't make much of a difference. But the fact that they were able to run on it, it just absolutely killed them. It killed them. Because what do they say about liberals? Tree huggers, lovers of nature, lovers of people, tolerant, all these other things. But when you have that contrast that is so great between what is going on in Israel, what is going on in Ukraine, and what is going on, and you're actually the ones that are funding it, it's not a good look. It's not good for the optics. So that's all I got to say about that.
Mhm.
And I find it interesting that nobody wants to jump in on the Jewish conversation because we're also trained not to have that conversation more so than anything else that we've talked about today, because you know how dangerous that is. But the truth of the matter is what is going on in Israel is a large part of what cost the Democrats the White House. And I'm going to always believe that, because you can't be moral and also sending out bombs to Israel to bomb people. You can't be moral and allowing Israel to bomb food drop-off sites. Food drop-off sites. There's nothing humanitarian about that whatsoever. Nothing. And the fact
But
that
you really think that it played in on the election?
Huh?
You really think that played in on the election?
Most definitely. Because what is it that liberals are supposed to be? They're supposed to care about life. And it doesn't, listen, I'm just talking about strictly optics and perception. Okay. Because the truth of the matter is, had Donald Trump been president, the same things or worse would have been happening in Israel. The difference is it wouldn't have been happening in Ukraine because Russia would have ran over Ukraine already. It would have been ran over already. Just, it would be a parking lot. And that's a possibility, that's a very strong possibility that that's what's going to happen next in Ukraine. It may become a parking lot, for better or for worse. Personally, when it comes to Ukraine, there's a lot of Nazis in Ukraine. So if it gets plowed over, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. What happened with Palestine, the optics, the fact that they allowed, because what are we talking about? We're talking about low intelligence, low informational voters. So when you sit there and you tell one of them, the Biden-Harris administration are the ones that are allowing this to happen in Palestine. Whether you support Israel or whether you support Palestine, you can't deny the fact that civilians are getting unalived in large numbers in that conflict, which is barely a conflict. One side is armed to the teeth. The other side is basically trying to collect their clothing and their belongings as they get moved from place to place. You know, it's barely a conflict.
As they get pushed from hot zone to hot zone.
Exactly. And it's always hot, no matter where it is and everything. And listen, all I can say is like this, like y'all all know, like I'm glad that my mental capacity is obviously back, because this is probably the best show that I've had since I've been back. I've barely had to take notes and everything and have conversations. I'm really thinking about these things like fully 110%. And the thing is, the thing is with this is that we're about to wrap up anyway because we've been about an hour. The thing is with this whole thing is that
Did you just congratulate yourself on being able to hold your train of thought throughout this thing, and then lose your train of thought the next day?
bro, come on. I got a phone call. Can I get a break? Can I, like, you know, I got a phone call. I'm trying not to have the conversation come through. I did hope but thank you, Robert Brooks. I'm putting things in perspective once again. You know, maybe this will help you. Maybe this will help you with perspective.
I don't know if that's gonna help, bro.
Everybody's getting
gonna help.
fingers.
He's holding the host to a higher standard.
Yes. So listen, we're pretty much at an hour. I'd just like to say, like, anything that you guys would like to add on to my rants. I know it's dangerous. Don't attack those people. And it's not an attack. It really isn't.
But they label
does
everything
in
an attack,
Israel,
though.
huh?
They label everything an attack, though.
Exactly. So it's like no matter what you say, it's like if you have a conversation about the group, it's a problem. Like there's a group online that's a Long Island group, and it's run by Jewish liberals in this group, and you know they're so distraught. Some of them are so distraught about what happened with Donald Trump, but these are the same people that were posting up that Israel has the right to basically bomb Palestinians out of their homes. And they don't see the contradiction. They don't see the contradiction. And as long as you can't see contradictions and you can't see the contrast in things, then everything's going to be okay. So this is why everything's going to be okay, guys.
Yeah, because it's my opinion.
It's your opinion, and your opinion is important. So listen, Grant, you'd like to add anything to the conversation before we go?
Nah, I think you were spot on, player.
Okay, thank you. Spot on.
Yeah, I think you were spot on.
Spot on, player. Andrew, you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation before we wrap it up?
I just enjoy hanging out and talking to intelligent, like-minded Black folk.
Yes.
That's it.
Like-minded Black folk.
Mm-hmm.
That's that one. That means not worried about reparations, not worried about whether or not you are FBA or you're an immigrant, not worried about, even though, like, you know, like, listen, some of you motherfuckers, like, yo, I'm going to tell you right now, basically, I hate to say it, but Africans are pretty much off my list right now. My interactions with them over the past like 5 or 6 months, you know, coming from the guy, it's like, yeah, listen, I love y'all. Y'all part of the diaspora, but I'm not fucking with some of y'all. It started with the dude in the hospital who tied me to the hospital bed. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker tied me to the hospital bed and then tried to hit on my woman, like while I was in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like nigga, you know what I'm saying?
You muted Rob.
Huh? Yeah, no, Rob muted himself and everything. He muted himself, but it's like,
only
you know,
human, Holmes. Give him a break.
Bro, I'm about to I would like to push an elephant on top of that motherfucker. Okay? You know what I'm saying? The nigga tied me to the hospital bed, and then tried to hit on my woman while I was tied into the bed.
Well, he didn't, you know, to be honest, nobody thought you was getting out of that motherfucker. Nobody thought you was getting back up again, Holmes. You was just trying to get in line first and shit. You know, it's like finding an off-market apartment and shit. Like, oh shit.
That's true. Nobody understands. But starting with them and everything, I just like, you know, listen, do me a favor. Like if you do encounter me and everything and you're online and you're an African person and you want to tell me about living in this country, do us both a favor and don't tell me what it's like and shit. Let me tell you first. And then maybe we can have a conversation about it. But don't tell me about it first, because honestly speaking, if I wanted your opinion, I would go to your country and I would ask you your opinion. And when I go to your country, I would see the same fucking caste system, horrible caste system in the majority of African countries that usually have whites on top and then everybody else on the bottom, and a certain class of black people being allowed to basically eat
Middle
off the side
management.
of the table. Huh?
Middle management.
They're the poor whites. Africans in Africa are the poor whites of America, or the middle class whites of America. You don't run your shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't run your own countries. So what are you going to do? You're going to come here, you're going to teach me how to be underneath somebody else? No, thanks. I think we've been doing a pretty good job of being underneath white people in the United States of America for the past 400 years. We don't need any assistance with that.
You know, you're doing a better job than some of us, but.
Well, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Robert. I think that was a sexual comment, and I think that I'll accept that one. Born in Trouble. Next week's episode. Another one in the books. You know,
Give the host a harumph.
That's it. The host was on fire today.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I had a lot I wanted to say. This is when the show is good. You know, when I have a lot of feelings, and I really I wanted to tie it together, and really honestly, I wanted to let everybody know that as a Darwinist, I'm cool with all this shit, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Yeah, motherfuckers that voted for Trump and everything, but this really is for those people, for the black people who listen to this show, who voted for Trump and actually feel like they did something. I just want you to know that the joke is on you, and it's going to come around pretty quick. I started the show with that, and I'm going to end the show with that. It came around pretty quick. You're going to learn. You're going to learn, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? We, Generation X motherfuckers, like, listen, I'm either going to be kicking ass until I die. And that's basically it. And everything. Be moving and shaking until I die, kicking an ass, and like, you know, showing love with my brothers, showing up every week, every other week. I think I'm going to take the week off next week, but listen, Andrew Johnson, once again, thank you. I know you did your show today. What's the name of your show again? Tell the people.
The podcast is the 313 Men, Money, and Marriage. The episode that will be coming out on Saturday. We actually live streamed it to YouTube. So if you go to the YouTube channel, the Men, Money, and Marriage Hour, you'll see it up there. The episode is when women make more than they man. Basically, when women out earn their husbands.
Oh, you should have had my daughter on that show.
And yeah, so
nobody gets peace today. I'm coming for everybody today, B. Everybody. Go on, bro.
There's just it was 3 female guests, and we talked about the dynamics of all the intricacies and dynamics and all that stuff that plays out with when your woman makes more money than you.
Well, I guess you can speak to my wife today too, because like I'm about a week out. So it's like right now. Baby, can I get some cigarettes? That's one. Rollo in the 40s. Did anybody tell you about giving their man money for a 40 ounce? If they did, that's problematic. Anyway, Grant Lancaster, the man who lives in the 313.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Parting words, my friend.
Not really much to say. You said a mouthful. I'm about to go turn on my Tyrone Green and the reggae band CD.
Okay, you're not listening to MC Hammer's second album from 1995.
No. Tyrone Green and this reggae band.
No.
Kill the white people.
Kid and Play. For the record, in 1995, Kid and Play.
Buy my record first. Buy my record first.
Yeah, just buy my record first.
Buy my record first. Oh, yeah. Why don't you kill my? Anyway, you know, we'll have to play that one. I might start the next show with that one. And Mr. Robert Brooks. Mr. Brooks with the good looks. What's going on, my brother?
Johnny, well, we're gonna see what's gonna happen, man. It's gonna be a long 4 years. But you know, we keep our heads about us, and you know, get your passports in order just in case.
Well, the thing is, it's gonna be longer than 4 years. Supreme Court justices,
Oh,
legislation that
it's
passes.
gonna be
I mean,
it's gonna be 30, 40 years of this bullshit.
Yes, sir.
Like,
yes, sir.
Mhm.
if he can get 2 of the justices retire, we're fucked for our kids' lifetimes.
Mhm.
I think what we're going to see is, honestly speaking, and everything, I think we're going to see an increase in interracial babies. You know, I don't believe that liberal women are going to go 4 years and not fuck men. I think that they're going to find the man that is going to piss off their man the most and fuck them. So nobody pisses off daddy more than the black guy coming home. So I think you're going to actually see more interracial babies. I always come up with the oddest stats, but I bet you I'm right.
Well,
Bet you.
bookmark that, and in 5 years we'll take a look at the numbers and see. But you might want to change your dosage. That's what you're coming up with. You might want to put just a little bit less in the pipe next time.
All right. I'm telling you, this is how it's gonna go down. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get a bunch of rebels. You've got a lot of people that are, a lot of incels think that they're gonna get laid because of the fact that sexual assault, according to JD Vance, is just an inconvenience. So that's encouraging for some of these guys that like to stay in the shadows and everything and jump on top of women and everything. So that's good for them. I also, had a conversation today with my daughter about when and when not to unleash a firearm. So you motherfuckers may jump out the shadows, but a lot of these women are carrying in their purses. So hopefully I won't have to pay for her legal defense, but I did tell her to let them things fly. Born in Trouble, 13th episode. Fellas, we done did the thing.
Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. I'm going to stop the stream now and say to everybody out there listening, love you people. Be nice to one another.
Oh, now you want to be nice to them. Other way around, Holmes.
What did I say? I thought I was nice all show.
You can't resist.
No, I
Can't
can't. I
help
can't.
himself.
I'm an asshole by nature. Peace. And that's the one thing. Oh, that's the last thing. Just because I'm supposedly, quote unquote, liberally liberal, as far as thought process, doesn't mean I'm not an asshole. I'm actually a very big asshole. I like seeing people who deserve it in pain. I'm like that archangel. Peace. And sexual chocolate. Fellas.
Give the governor a harumph.
Didn't get a harump.